Behind the sweet smile and bubbly charm of Janet Wood from Three's Company lies a real woman who faced love, heartbreak, fights, scandals, and controversies that Hollywood never showed you. Joyce DeWitt may have seemed like the wholesome roommate on screen, but her real-life story is filled with passion, drama, feuds, and shocking twists. Tonight, we dive deep into the hidden life of Joyce DeWitt, exploring her love life, her fiery battles behind the scenes, the scandals that shook her career, and the controversies that made her retreat from Hollywood. This isn't the Janet Would You Remember This is the real Joyce DeWitt. Joyce DeWitt was born April 23, 1949, in Wheeling, West Virginia, and raised in Speedway, Indiana. She grew up in a strict Catholic household, where discipline and faith played a big role. But Joyce had dreams, bigger than her small-town upbringing. When she moved to Los Angeles to pursue acting, she wasn't just chasing a career. She was also searching for independence, freedom, and yes, love. In her early years, she dated quietly, often keeping her personal life private. But in Hollywood, privacy is nearly impossible. One of her earliest long-term relationships was with actor Ray Buktenica, best known for his work on shows like Rhoda and House Calls. The two dated throughout much of the late 1970s and early 1980s, during the very height of Three's Company. Their romance was serious, lasting nearly 7 years. Joyce once described him as her rock during the madness of Hollywood. But the pressures of fame, long working hours, and the intensity of being a household name strained their love. Eventually, their romance ended, leaving Joyce heartbroken but more determined to focus on her career. Unlike many Hollywood stars, Joyce never became a tabloid party girl. Instead, her love life was marked by long relationships, privacy, and deep emotional connections. But even with her efforts to stay private, Hollywood had a way of dragging her personal affairs into the spotlight. Joyce DeWitt rose to stardom as Janet Wood, the sensible brunette roommate on Three's Company. She was the balance between Suzanne Somers' sexy Chrissy and John Ritter's clumsy Jack. But while the show made America laugh, behind the cameras, there was tension, jealousy, and ugly fights. The biggest controversy exploded in 1980 when Suzanne Somers demanded a massive salary increase, asking for pay equal to John Ritter and a share of the show's profits. ABC refused, and Suzanne's standoff led to her being written out of most of the season. For Joyce, who was close to both John Ritter and Suzanne Somers, this was devastating. But she was also furious. Joyce felt Suzanne's demands hurt the cast and the crew. In interviews, she admitted feeling betrayed, believing Somers put money above friendship. This feud turned personal for decades. Joyce and Suzanne didn't speak for over 30 years. Tabloids fueled the fight, portraying Joyce as jealous of Suzanne's fame and attention, while others painted Joyce as the loyal co-star who stood by Ritter. Fights weren't limited to Somers. Joyce was also vocal with producers. She often argued for more respect for the women on the show, feeling they were treated as eye candy while Ritter was given the spotlight. Her strong personality clashed with executives who wanted her to stay in her lane. These fights behind the scenes damaged Joyce's reputation in Hollywood. She gained a reputation as difficult, even though many later admitted she was simply standing up for fairness. When Three's Company ended in 1984, Joyce's career slowed. But her love life remained active. Though never married, she dated several men in and out of Hollywood. Unlike many of her peers, she never rushed into marriage, later saying, "I believe in love, but I don't believe in marrying for the sake of it. I wanted the right one." Through the late 1980s and 1990s, Joyce was linked to various men, though few were confirmed publicly. She preferred dinner dates and private getaways to red carpets. Still, tabloids speculated about her romances, sometimes unfairly linking her to co-stars and producers. One rumor linked Joyce to a powerful Hollywood executive in the late 80s, suggesting she turned down marriage because she didn't want to give up her independence. Another tabloid story claimed she secretly dated a younger man while working in theater. Joyce rarely addressed these stories, but she once joked, "If the tabloids are right, I've been married 12 times without realizing it." Her real love remained the stage. Theater gave her the passion and intimacy that Hollywood had denied her. Still, as friends have shared, Joyce always longed for deep companionship, even if she never found a forever husband. In Hollywood, even one scandal can overshadow years of hard work. For Joyce, that moment came in 2009. On July 4, 2009, Joyce DeWitt was arrested in El Segundo, California, for driving under the influence (DUI). Police pulled her over after she drove past a barricade. She was given field sobriety tests, which she failed, and was then arrested. The tabloids exploded. Headlines screamed, "Janet Wood busted." For many, it was shocking. Joyce had always been seen as the good girl of Three's Company. Now, she was painted as reckless. Joyce later pled no contest, receiving 3 years probation, community service, and a mandatory alcohol program. Though it was a dark moment, Joyce used it as a wake-up call. She admitted the incident forced her to reflect deeply on her choices and health. The scandal briefly returned her to the spotlight, but for all the wrong reasons. For a woman who had avoided major controversies most of her career, it was humiliating. While the Suzanne Somers feud defined much of Joyce's public controversy, there was also tension between Joyce and John Ritter at times. Ritter was often given the spotlight by producers, while Joyce felt the women carried equal comedic weight. This imbalance sometimes caused heated discussions on set. But unlike with Somers, Joyce and Ritter always reconciled. She spoke glowingly of him after his sudden death in 2003, calling him her soul brother and one of the kindest men I ever knew. The true shock came in 2012, when Joyce reunited with Suzanne Somers on Somers' talk show after 30 years of silence. The emotional reunion saw both women tear up as they apologized and forgave each other. Fans were stunned. The fight that had divided them for decades finally ended. This reconciliation proved something vital about Joyce's character, that no matter how deep the fights, she valued forgiveness over grudges. Throughout her life, Joyce has remained unmarried and without children, a rarity in Hollywood. Some viewed this as lonely, but Joyce insists it was her choice. She valued independence and never wanted to settle for a love that wasn't true. But in private, friends say Joyce had many passionate romances. She was known to be fiery in love, just as she was in her career. She loved deeply, but she also fought hard when wronged. Hollywood often tried to mold her into an image, the sweet girl next door. But Joyce's real story is one of fights for respect, scandals that tested her strength, and a love life filled with passion and heartbreak. Joyce DeWitt's life is proof that even the sweetest smile can hide battles, heartbreak, and controversy. Behind Janet Wood's innocence was a woman who loved deeply, fought fiercely, and faced scandals with resilience. What do you think?